happy to be here.
You know, I love you both.
I know, we love you.
It's such a fun, like, coming together. When you guys called me and said you wanted to do this, I was just like, how special is it that we first met now 7 years ago? And then because of you, I got to meet this amazing man. And I feel like we've kicked off a bromance. And
that makes me happy.
Yeah. And because of you, I just feel like we've been spending so much time together. And so I'm so grateful to you both for trusting me and over the years, and the fact that you've been on, and now we get both of you. It's like,
thank you.
It's so special.
It's a very safe, cozy place.
Benny and Selena.
Hi.
Welcome back to On Purpose for the first time together.
Yes.
I am so grateful to you both. It's been a joy getting to know you both over the last few years. And I am so happy for you both.
Thank you.
Like, this is just so beautiful and special. And because of you, Selena, I got to know Benny so much more. And Benny and I have been hanging out. We've been meditating. We've been
I love that.
Eating. We've been
That makes me really happy.
But it's thanks to you. It's thanks to you for bringing us together. And I was just saying, as a man, it's so hard to make male friendships as you get older.
Mm-hmm. So is that so?
Yeah, I think
it's just like when you're an adult, it's like, I have my people. And that's like, what? I have to let a new person in? Like, you barely have time for your people that you have. So you're like, wait, in order to get a new person, I have to like move another person down the list to slot a new person in.
Whoa.
Because there's not, you start to get to an age. It's like, Larry David always says this. He says, I have friends that I'm not even friends with. I've just been friends with them for so long. I can't let them go because they're already built in. It's like a therapist. They already know everything. You can't teach a new person.
That's hilarious.
Selena disagrees.
It's not necessarily that I disagree. I guess I just always thought that guys have this immediate, like, what's up? And then they're just like in a flow. So I don't know. I found that interesting.
Yeah, I feel like you get guarded as you get older a little bit. Sometimes I wish I weren't as wise because I'm not wise at all, but I'm saying like, it's like when you listen to something, like for me, for music, I listened to things when I was like 18 and I was like, oh my God, I didn't know any of the rules. I wasn't thinking of anything. It all comes so easily because you're not confined to like this box that you've put yourself in over the years. And then by the end, you're like, oh, I'm 36, almost 37. And I'm like, oh, I can't do that. And it's like, there is some sort of freedom to being really young too.
There definitely is. There definitely is. But I was saying that watching both your love story, and I know you were saying, Selena, 2 seconds ago, you're like, this is such a safe and cozy space to come to. I'm hoping that today we get to know your love story on a deeper level. And we get to access really what's in your hearts and minds, because I think there's so many interviews and so many things that kind of will touch on the surface level of stuff, but I hope we can go deeper. So what I want to start with is I want to actually rewind, and I want to rewind to a place where we don't retell the story, but we get to relive your story with you. Right. And I think there's a difference, because when we tell a story, it's like, this is what happened. But when we relive it, it's almost like going back to who we were when that happened. So I want to go back to the first time you ever met, and I want to hear about it.
Well, the funny thing is it was so long ago that we don't remember.
we know that her mother put us in a meeting together when, how old were you?
16.
So she was 16.
Wow, I didn't realize it was that long ago.
And well, I'm like 4 or 5 years older than you. So I was probably 20, 21. And her mom was trying to get her into music. And her mom is amazing. The way she goes from room to room, gets
We've had her on the show. Yeah, she's a powerhouse.
Gets things to happen. And somehow she got us a meeting together. And we don't remember that time. And, after we had done songs together, there was one time where it was probably 2016 or 17 or something. I remember when you were in a studio, like Interscope Studios, and I remember she doesn't remember it, but I remember I came in and I had this talk with you, and I remember being like, whoa, wow, like, Selena's really like a complex person, like in a good way. And I was like, wow, she's so deep. And we had this conversation where I was just really left by being like, oh, she's deep. And then we went and thought nothing more of it. And then when we did our song together, I remember leaving, not feeling romantic at all. I just remember leaving, and I was talking, because when you're a pop star like she is, and you're a huge entity, and you've done so many things in your life, before, like, people set up all these walls before. So it's like you get like before I came in, they were like, well, this thing's like this and this is like this. And like, she might not want to do that and like stuff. And they speak for people so much. And then I remember me and the director were so nervous. And then the first second you like disarmed everybody. And I remember walking back and Jake was like, he's like, the guy who directing with me, he's like, it's going to be so easy. What they made it seem like this was going to be this crazy thing. And the warmth I felt from her in that moment, I remember leaving being like, wow, Selena's such a cool girl. She's
and Selena, you don't remember this at all?
No, she remembers that.
I remember the video part, but it was interesting because, yes, I don't have a very good memory, but I just remember the video shoot. I didn't see anything romantic nor really felt that, but I had a really good time. And that was probably the first time after years of doing music together and not together. That was the first time I really got to hang out with him. Yeah. And it was fun. I had a good time. And that was that. And then how it kind of continued was I was always cautious because I always wanted to make sure that I did protect myself. So to be honest, I didn't talk to him very often.
I thought she hated it.
Really?
I knew that was coming.
I really did. I thought she didn't. Like, I would see her and I would be like, does she not like me? Like, and we weren't thinking about anything. I was like, wow, she really like didn't talk to me a lot. And I was like, I thought I was being nice. And like, my friends would be like, no. And then like, there was another time I remember and my friends were like, oh yeah, she was kind of weird to you. And I was
I'm so sorry.
And there was like a few times and I didn't know. And I was just like, I was like, that's okay.
I thought I was being like polite by not.
She didn't really engage.
Basically, I was working on some music and we went through some of the demos that we had and Single Soon came up, which is ironic because it was actually nowhere near where I was in my personal life. But Benny happened to do the song.
No, I didn't even do the song. It was like one of my guys who did
and
the
you
song.
came to fix it.
Yeah, and I like came to help out because I was like, oh, I want their song to, I was like, I don't like the way this, let me just at least help them. I was like, well, I'm not sure if it'll be okay because I don't know if Selena likes me or something. And then John Janik, the president of Interscope, he was like, well, why don't you just go into the session? She usually doesn't have people in, but just go in and like, if there is something that you feel is weird, like try to just smooth it over and talk to her and get in. And I said, okay, I'm going to go smooth it over. So I went in. It was so funny. Right before I came, her engineer told me like later that she was like, oh, Benny's coming. And she was like,
and here's our reasoning. I'm going to defend myself.
Yeah,
I get very nervous around the producers watching me sing.
Of course.
It's just a very intimate thing for me. I feel like I need to sound a certain way or do whatever to make them happy. And when I get to record with just me and my engineer and maybe someone I trust, I get more out of the experience. So I just was thinking, okay, well, maybe he'll stay for 10 minutes and we'll just talk for a second. And 10 minutes turned into like 30. Then he went to the other room and I finished recording and he stayed there. And then, yeah, this is too long.
So from my perspective, here's what happened. I get in there.
I'm like,
I gotta smooth this.
I love this back and forth.
Yeah. I was like, I don't have this with anyone. Like, I was like, I want us to be chill. And obviously 99% of it was in my head. And I come in, we just start talking about life and her A&R's there. One of my friends is there. And we're talking about life and we start talking about dating. And I was like, yeah, I went out on this date, blah, blah, blah. And then I was talking to her and I said, oh my God, I have so many good single guy friends. I was like, we have dinners at the house all the time. You should come over sometime. And I wasn't even thinking about anything. And we're like talking about like our ideal date and like this and that. I wanted to make sure she did the line right. So I was like, oh, I'll stay there to like make sure it's good after. And then, so I did, we left. And then
you texted me.
I didn't have her cell phone number because she changed her number a bunch. So like, I asked someone, I said, hey, give me your cell phone number. I want to say like, thing. And I wrote, I was like, oh my God, you were, and during that, when I was with her, I was like, oh my God. I was like, not only, she's like really cool. I was like, I want her to be like in our friend group. And I couldn't even be thinking, I was like, I want her to be in our friend group, and I want to make sure this thing's smoothed out so the song goes well and everything. So I said, let me just text her, thank you or whatever. And I was like, you were so sweet or something like that. And then she writes back. I guess we were texting throughout the day. And she told me, she looked back at our message. She said, somehow you started sending like selfies where you looked really bad on purpose, like the worst ones in your phone.
You started to do this.
Yes. Which, by the way, no girl should really, or anyone in their right mind to someone they would have a crush on do that. But we were talking about ugly photos, like, because I always say I take the worst photos sometimes. And he's like, oh, you said something. And I sent him the worst pictures of me, like in bed sick. And then, me at weird photo shoots. And now looking back on it, I'm just thinking these are so weird.
Wait,
I don't know why I
me
sent
in that
it.
moment yet or not yet?
Yeah.
Oh, you did? Okay. So
that's what I was trying to figure out.
I had no idea. So I had no idea. And somehow we decide.
So wait, why did you do that if you liked Benny? Why were you sending?
Well, because I didn't know that it was going to be like, maybe I thought it was just going to be flirting and not really anything else.
Got it.
But I really started to just, I don't know, fall for him.
So I didn't know any of this.
No.
And then we decide, I forget how it happens, but we're like, yeah, let's hang out. And I was like, oh, my friend's having a birthday party tomorrow. I was like, you just come along. And I was like, just thinking friend stuff. And then, so she comes to mine, and I guess she thought the party was going to be at my house, but I was like, oh, in my head, I was like, oh, she'll just come over and we can just like grab a drink first and then go there. Like not thinking anything of it. I was like, we'll just like grab a drink at my friend's wine bar. It's on the way. And then we'll go there. You were there. And we were sitting together, and she said something like, well, because it's a date, I wore blah, blah. And I was like, I was like, what?
No, I said, if this was a date, I definitely would have dressed like nicer. And he just kind of looked at me, and I thought we were on a date.
And I was like, we're on a date. And then we went, and then we didn't really talk about it.
Wait, who thought it was a date?
She thought it was.
Oh.
She thought it was a date.
I'm sorry, a nice man takes me out for a drink. I'm assuming it's a date.
I didn't know.
But no one had asked each other out yet.
No, it was like, let's just hang out. And then we go to my friends, we go to this Thai restaurant, we go to Jitlada, and we're like hanging out, and there's a bunch of people there. And then she all of a sudden like leaves. And she was like, I have a video shoot really early in the morning. And I was like, okay. And I was like, but I wasn't like, because it wasn't a date to me or anything. So I was like, okay, cool. And I stayed with my friends and stuff. And then she texted me after, and I remember you being like, that was like one of the most fun times I've had in a really long time.
Selena, so you technically asked Benny out on the first official date.
She did. She did like
walk us through that confidence, that energy, because
there
I think
wasn't
a lot of
any
ladies
confidence. That's the scary part. I think that's when I recognized that I had some sort of feelings for him. When I fell for Benny, it was everything about him was honest. When Benny looks at me, I don't think he sees anything but who I am. Oh, that's so cheesy to say, but when you do know, it feels right. Walking to his house, or into his home to go to his friend's thing, I was very nervous. And I'm not normally like that unless it's like an event or something where it could be overwhelming. But with anyone I talk to, I'm able to talk to people, and I feel like I'm good at it. But I just felt like all these feelings. And then when we went out, I was laughing, and I didn't feel like he wanted anything or there was weird motives. It's sad that, people have to think that way, but I don't know. I felt this immediate safety, and I was very pleased that, I don't know, we were friends, and then I became,
The next time we hung out, we just hung out at home, and we just like, we're chilling, and we were playing that game.
We're not
really strangers.
Oh yeah, that's a great game.
And my friend made that game.
Oh wow!
And we were just playing it, and we had both played it, and I was like, okay, sure, we can play it. And we played it, and there was like a card that said like, take a selfie together, and we like took us out. She like screwed up. We took a selfie, and then right after the selfie, we just kissed. And then no, that's it. And then she's very private. And then basically the rest was history. And we started hanging out so much, and it just like very quickly, I was like, oh my God, my whole life, I was like, oh, this is my person. Like, I'm gonna marry this person. This is the thing. This is what it feels like. It was so different than any of those feelings. And I was like, holy shit, I met my best friend. This is my best friend. Nothing gets any better than this. It can't get better. There's no, this is like better than any friend I have that's a guy, and I get to kiss them. Like, it was like, it was insane to me. So I was like, I can't let this go. And it was so funny because before I met her, with my therapist, I had made a list saying like, these are all the things I want. I'm tired.
Tell me the list.
You want to know it?
Yeah, I want to know the list.
Okay. So before I met her, I was a guy in LA trying to find the one for me, and I was having some trouble, and I think I was like maybe not looking in all the right places, and I was like, okay, it's time to be a grown up. Like, I want to like start a life. I want to have a family. I want to find a person that like is my other half, that makes me feel better and I make them feel better. And it's a give and take. It's the perfect yin and yang. So I wrote down a list, and the first thing on my list was age appropriate. Okay. So that was,
I love that. That's
great.
And it was 30 plus. Okay.
Got it.
So that was number one on my list.
Yes.
Not number one, but it was the first thing I wrote.
Yeah.
And then the second thing I wrote was, I said, I know these are so simple, but it's so hard to come by. Somebody who's kind, compassionate, and caring. I was like, that's really 3 in 1, but that was but I was like, I need someone who's like nice and is like a genuine nice person.
You said something really important. The reason I'm bringing it up is because I feel a lot of women, but a lot of people feel this way. And you said when you first were meeting and recording together, there was a sense of you were protecting yourself.
Yes.
And I think that's a very human thing. And I think it's a very normal thing, and especially in this day and age, especially in your position to add to it. What was it that, at one point you said, I'm going to adopt at 35 if I don't find someone? Like, you had your whole life mapped out when you met Benny. But then, and you said you were protecting yourself, but then you started to open up. Could you walk us through what gave you confidence to open up, but what that feels like when you're trying to protect yourself? Because I think that's the push and pull that everyone's going through.
Well, I think first of all, making plans and trying to stick to them is silly because you don't know what's going to happen. And I can't believe that I get to marry my best friend. But yes, I think for me, I was genuinely set. But it was once I let go of me just saying I want someone and I wish I had this and I wish I had that. Instead, I changed my mind to, I'm so lucky that I get to wake up and my family is healthy and I love spending time with my friends. And you know what? If it doesn't happen, I know that I've always wanted to be a mom. And, so of course I kind of planned that out. I think it was because when Benny looks at me, I don't think he sees anything but who I am. And that's very rare to find. He knows when I'm feeling a certain way and kind of, before I can even let it get to a place where it's unbearable, he has already talked to me through a spiral and protecting myself on multiple reasons, doing music, working with someone that's kind of, like, oh, I don't know if I should do that. But I genuinely it just happened. I think when and oh, that's so cheesy to say, but when you do know, it feels right. And I think that's what happened to me. And I just felt very comfortable with it.
Yeah. Benny, how do you feel that you almost sabotaged your relationship by nearly introducing Selena to your friends? How does that feel? Like when you're like, hey, wait a minute, come and meet my friends. There might be some nice guys for you to meet.
I feel like it all happens for a reason.
Yeah.
I feel like maybe me doing that is what disarmed her enough to we talked about this before. Like if we would have met each other.
Selena Gomez has made a career out of surprising the world. both musically and personally. From her candid openness about mental health to bravely taking on new creative ventures, Selena's authenticity is magnetic. Now, she's left fans speechless yet again. Not with new single or shocking red carpet appearance, but with a heartfelt and honest discussion about family, future, and perhaps the most unexpected twist. Her plans to become a mother, potentially with the help of surrogacy, alongside her partner Benny Blanco. If you're a fan or just captivated by stories of hope, resilience, and honest love, you'll want to keep reading. Because what Selena revealed isn't just celebrity gossip. It's a story filled with vulnerability, new beginnings, and deeply human questions that resonate with anyone who's ever wondered what the future holds for their own family. Before the world heard them together in music, few guessed they'd someday be talking about building a life and a possible family side by side. During a recent, cozy interview, Selena and Benny sat down to revisit their journey, not just as musicians, but as two people navigating the complicated terrain of love under a spotlight. What begins as simple admiration transforms into a modern fairy tale. The pair reminisced. Awkward meetings, years of professional distance, and ugly selfie text exchanges that were somehow more romantic than red roses. Both admitted they never set out expecting sparks. Yet, as Benny puts it, my whole life I was like, oh, this is my person. Like, I'm going to marry this person. The comfort, laughter, and mutual understanding eventually turned friendship into partnership. For Selena, Benny's honesty was a revelation. Everything about him was honest, she shared. When Benny looks at me, I don't think he sees anything but who I am. That sense of safety, so rare in her world of fame and expectations, was what truly disarmed her. Perhaps what makes this story so compelling isn't just the love. It's the very human struggle Selena articulates beautifully. The desire to protect yourself, to make plans, and prepare your heart for whatever may come. For years, Selena made peace with the possibility that love might not happen when or how she hoped. I was genuinely set, she laughed, recounting her plans to adopt by the age of 35 if she hadn't found the right partner. Making plans and trying to stick to them is silly, because you don't know what's going to happen. Yet, things did change. I can't believe I get to marry my best friend, she revealed with the infectious joy that has powered her career since her teen years. And while marrying Benny might have been unplanned, Selena's longing for motherhood has never been a secret. During the interview, Selena didn't shy away from the subject so many fans are curious about. Will she have children? And how will she do it? Her past admissions about her own health journey, especially after her lupus diagnosis and kidney transplant, have painted a clear picture. Selena knows becoming a mother might look different for her. And now, she's speaking up about it. I've always wanted to be a mom, Selena says quietly but confidently. Of course I kind of planned that out. The unusual challenges posed by her medical history led her to quietly explore options like surrogacy as part of her future plans. For Selena, surrogacy isn't about choosing an easier path, but about giving herself permission to hope. She isn't the first woman to face difficult fertility decisions, but she might be one of the very few global superstars to speak about it with such transparency. As news of Selena's honesty with Benny made the rounds, the response was swift and overwhelmingly supportive. Across social media and fan forums, fans flocked to share their own stories of non-traditional motherhood, fertility struggles, and the pressures of society's expectations. For many, Selena's story has become a beacon. It's a reminder that planning for happiness never follows a straight line, and that it's okay to let go, to trust, and, yes, to let love lead you somewhere you never thought you'd go. Selena sharing her surrogacy journey makes me feel less alone, wrote one Instagram follower. She's always honest about her struggles. Watching someone like her embrace every option gives me hope for my own story. Selena Gomez and Benny Blanco's journey so far is more than the sum of its viral moments and hit songs. It's a story about embracing vulnerability, being open to new dreams, and redefining what a happy ending can look like. In an industry built on curated perfection, Selena's willingness to talk about her dreams, her fears, and her future, messy, unexpected, and joyful as it may be, is truly shocking but in the best way possible. Whether you're a Selena or just someone wrestling with the unpredictability of life, her story is a gentle nudge to throw out the calendar, trust your heart, and, when you're ready, build your own family in your own way. So what's next? Selena and Benny haven't finalized their plans just yet. That's something for them to share in their own time. But if their journey so far is any indication, it will be defined by courage, love, and a commitment to living out loud. And maybe one day soon, the world will celebrate with them as they open a new chapter. A family started in love, with hope, no matter how it comes to be.